How's it going, everyone? We are back finally with part 4 of the Atticus Dini entire CD collection. As you can see, we are in a completely new area. I've had to move, and that's why this has taken so long to make part 4. I also got a haircut. I look different. The series continues. Today we are doing letters K through O. I've said this so many times now, but we're going from artist's last name, not their first name. To start off this video, we have Kesha Warrior Deluxe. I got this in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I heard a lot of things about this album online, and I was very interested to hear it myself, and I figured buying it on CD would be a good way to do that. Favorite songs on here are probably Die Young or Dirty Love. Next up, we have Khalid American Teen. This one's got a bit of a funny story to it. I bought this for someone, but they never actually ended up getting it. And now here I am owning a CD I don't love that much. It's okay though. Favorite song on here is probably like American Teen. I barely even know the songs on here. I've listened to it like twice or 3 times. Next up, we have a new pickup of an old album, Carole King, Tapestry. This is a classic album, not one that I'm very familiar with, but I do think I will like it once I give it a full listen. I know a few of them though. Favorite song on here is probably It's Too Late or So Far Away. One of those two. Next up, we have the best of KMD. KMD is a rap group that MF Doom was formerly in before he became MF Doom. I think it might have been him and his brother, to be honest, but I'm not 100% sure on that. This CD does not have a track list in it, so it's hard for me to tell what song is what when I'm listening. However, I really like it, but I don't have a favorite song yet. Next up, we have Knowledge, Hood Dreams. I'm a big fan of Knowledge's production, and you will see that further in this video. This is the beat tape, and I can't exactly remember what tracks are which, but I'm pretty sure number 4 is pretty sick. Next up, we have another album by Knowledge, 1988. This is an amazing beat tape from start to finish. It's definitely my favorite solo Knowledge project that I've heard. Favorite song on here is So Hard. It might be Don't Be Afraid, but also like there's so many other good ones. Don't Be Afraid, for now, is my favorite track. Next up, we have Kevin Crowder, Full Hand. Can't really see it at this view, but I'm actually wearing Kevin Crowder Full Hand t-shirt right here because I knew this album's coming up in this episode. This is one of my favorite albums of all time, possibly my all-time favorite. Super influential to the music I make. Beautiful songwriting. Very cool instrumentation. Favorite song on here is probably Pretty Boy or Kept or maybe Green Eyes. I don't know. They're all so good. Next up, we have Steve Lacy, Apollo 11? Yeah, Apollo 21. Apollo 21. Sorry, I'm bad at Roman numeral reading. I traded my friend Beckett this album because he didn't like it for some reason. I think it's really good. Steve Lacy obviously blowing up right now, but this is the classics. Favorite song from here is probably Hate CD or maybe N-Side. Next up, we have Kendrick Lamar, To Pimp a Butterfly. Obviously one of the most renowned hip-hop albums of the 2010s, if not of all time, to be honest. At first when I heard this, I wasn't huge on it because I've always been more of like an instrumental person than a lyricist person, but then I realized that a lot of these beats are actually sick too. Like, I have no excuse to not like this album. Favorite song on here is probably either These Walls or Mama. Shout out Knowledge yet again. Next up, we have LaRue, self-titled. I found this the other day for cheap, and I know it has Bulletproof, and I know LaRue has some other good songs that are newer, so I figured this would definitely be worth a try. However, I have not got around to listening to the full thing yet. Favorite song on here so far is Bulletproof. Next up, we have another self-titled, The Laws. I bought this album at a Goodwill because I knew it had There She Goes, which I think is a great song. But after listening, I realized that this whole album is honestly very sick. I like how there's a lot of really short songs on here. I feel like it's ahead of its time. Favorite track is either the obvious one, There She Goes, or I Can't Sleep, number 2 is also really good as well. Next CD on the list we have is Adrian Lanker, Songs and Instrumentals. This actually has 2 discs in it, one for songs, which I think is this side, and then this side is the cover for instrumentals if you look on Spotify. Instrumentals is kind of like ambient sound, a bit of like chimes and stuff going on as far as I remember. Songs is pretty much a full album of like acoustic guitar with some subtle percussion in it. Amazing songwriting though, beautiful songs. My favorite song on here is probably Anything or Not a Lot, Just Forever. Those are the ones that come to mind first, but this whole album is beautiful and sad and just almost hard to listen to sometimes. On the other hand, we have Lil Uzi Vert, Love is Rage 2. This is my favorite Uzi project. I recently just saw Uzi live at Made in America and it was amazing. It's hard to pick a favorite song, but I got 444 plus 222 or For Real or like, oh, Neon Guts. Neon Guts gotta be the number 1 fave. Next up, we have Lord Melodrama. I'm not a humongous Lord fan at the time, but I was a big fan when this album came out. This is definitely my favorite of Lord's albums. Favorite song on here is probably Liability or The Louvre. Next up, we have The Magnetic Fields, Distortion. I've said this in the past episodes, but my friend Bay found a bunch of CDs on the street and they picked them up for me. It's an okay album. I don't remember how it goes that much, and I don't really have a favorite song right now. Next up, we have The Beginning of a Small Collection. Bruno Mars' debut album right here. Back in in the day. This was sick pop music, and for the most part, a lot of these songs do hold up. Favorite songs on here are Liquor Store Blues and The Other Side. Next, we have Bruno Mars' second album, Unorthodox Jukebox. I haven't listened to this one in a while, so I can't say if I like it more than his first one or not. This is also cool because it comes with like a little slide out. Favorite song on here is either Locked Out of Heaven or Show Me. And finally, we have Bruno Mars' 24K Magic. This is my favorite Bruno Mars album. I loved this when it came out, and 24K Magic was one of my favorite pop songs of the decade back in the 2010s. Favorite songs on here are 24K Magic and Chunky, probably. Next up, we have Men I Trust, Untourable album. I did a CD unboxing of this on my channel, so make sure to go check that out if you want to see that. This is a super good album. I love Men I Trust. This really has no skips to it. Favorite song on here is either Lifelong Song, Sugar's also really good, Sorbital's really good. They're all insanely good. Next up, we have Happy to You by Mike Snow. I found this at a thrift in Philly, and I honestly am very surprised it plays because the CD is horribly scratched. I don't have a favorite song at this point though. I don't remember which ones are which. Next up, we have MGMT Self-Titled. I grabbed this for cheap one day at a Bull Moose because I knew MGMT was cool and I figured I should give a full album a try. This one doesn't have any of the big hits, but it's cool, and I don't remember which ones are which, so I don't have a favorite song. Next up, we have Swimming by Mac Miller. I was given this and it's horribly beat. Like, the case is even really beat and dirty. It also skips pretty bad on some of the better songs. 2009, I'm pretty sure, skips really bad. That's one of my favorites. I think What's the Use is also one of my favorites. Next up, we have Joni Mitchell, Chalk Mark in a Rainstorm. I've listened to this once or twice and I kind of like it, but no favorite song. Next up, we have Joni Mitchell, Both Sides Now, Reprise. Also listened to this once or twice, got it for cheap, no favorite song. Next, we have Moby Play. Pretty sure I saw one time that this is the highest selling electronic album of all time. I believe it though because it's in like every Goodwill. I got it at a library book sale a long time ago, and I was like a little kid. My dad bought it because he thought it'd be cool, and it's honestly not a bad album. I gotta be basic though. Favorite song on here is Porcelain. Next up, we have The National, Cherry Tree. I was also given this EP and I haven't really listened to it since I got it. No favorite track. Next up, we have The Neighborhood, Wiped Out. I've said this before, but shout out my friend Max from Hussin Media Camp a long time ago in high school for putting me onto this album, and just The Neighborhood in general he was really big on. This is a very solid album from an era that I wasn't really tuned into music for. Favorite song on here is probably either Crybaby or Wiped Out. Next up, we have Neo, You're the Gentleman. This CD holds a special place for me because it was one of the first CDs I ever got. I was given it for my birthday when I was like 10 or 11. Yeah, I was obsessed with Neo when I was a kid, and some of these songs definitely do hold up. Closer is by far my favorite though. That song is insane. Next up, we have No Worries, Yes Lord. This is Knowledge and Anderson .Paak's collab album, and it's one of the best collab albums ever in my opinion. Amazing sampling and amazing beats, and Anderson .Paak just, this is where I think he is at his best, to be honest. I could pick like 5 or 6 different songs on here to be my favorite, but I'm just gonna say Suede because I feel like it really encapsulates the album. Next we have, you can barely see it, but it's No Worries Remixes. This is an album that I'm very hyped to have. I don't know if this is like a rare CD, but I feel like it kind of is. I've only seen it once ever. It's basically a shorter version of their other album, which is like different beats. My favorite songs on here are probably Best, One, and Cutlass. Next up we have What's the Story, Morning Glory by Oasis. Again, another legendary album. Graphics of this album are insane. I just think it looks really good. It's definitely still good though. Favorite song on here is probably just Morning Glory. Next up we got a crazy one, Endless by Frank Ocean. This is technically a DVD/CD. There's both in here. To this day though, I have not watched the DVD, which is kind of a crime. The album is amazing though, and I'm super glad to have this with the tracks laid out and I don't have to like pirate it and separate it myself. I wish I could look at the track list to decide my favorite track, but for now I'm going to say UNITY. Second to last, and this one is insane, we got Blonde by Frank Ocean. This was sold on Frank Ocean's Blonded.co website for one day. I believe it was Black Friday 2016. I was lucky enough to grab a copy of this, and I'm so happy I have this. Definitely not near mint condition, but it still plays and it's perfectly fine pretty much. It's an iconic album. My favorite song on here is probably either Self Control or Ivy. And lastly for this video, we have Speakerbox / The Love Below by Outkast. I've listened to The Love Below a lot more than Speakerbox. To be honest, I don't know if I've actually heard Speakerbox all the way through. I definitely should though. I know like Hey Ya is on here, but I know that there's one I like more than that on there. Sorry for taking so long to get this part out. The series will be back and I want to finish this. I will finish this. I just had to move, which took a while, and I was also busy. I also had to establish like a new setup for filming, which was hard. But yeah, thank you for watching. Leave a like. I will see you later. Goodbye.